Hey, Guy. All right, let's talk about the plan that I have and how this coincides with your estimate. So let me get you oriented. This is the entry to your place where we've had our meetings. This is the approximate location of the water meter, approximate location of the house, and then the soccer field. So the first thing that I have in my estimate is for running a main water line throughout this property. I've got backflow preventer in there, a cutoff valve, description of where the branches are, and also I put this in there just in case if there's ever a break, you can cut off sections of this, and that helps in the repair of this with ideally without not sacrificing water access to the house. So your meter is here. We would run water in this direction, and that would be for future irrigation over here. And then we would run water in this direction and then all the way down to the back. You can pull branches off of it for the house, for the soccer field, and then once this is irrigated back here, we would also pull water off of it from this location as well. The next part is the grading. We talked about we need to level out the soccer field area. If we cut in here, that dirt will be put in this location. If you have a reservoir for all of this water running off, then some of this dirt can be put here. Also, this dirt can be put in this location up here. And then we also talked about the slip and slide that goes throughout. Again, that dirt can go to those different locations. I've broken down that part of your estimate based on the day. Essentially, there's operators out there with heavy equipment, and when you're happy, when you and I are happy with what we see accomplishing these particular tasks, then we say, hey, that's good, go home. They stated it would be 3 to 5 days. In your estimate, I put 4 days. I just took an average of that. The screening on the trailer park. We talked about larger plants. Now, I can definitely get larger plants, but I'm also thinking about this from a long-term perspective. I would rather put a lot more small plants in there and have that well irrigated. And the reason for that is along this property line, if I just do a couple of big plants here and there, if one dies, it leaves a big gap. The other thing, I suspect that in the fall and the winter, you're gonna see a lot more visibility over here. So I put in more small plants along with irrigation. Irrigation is key. Put plants in here, get them to survive, and they're gonna grow. But put small plants in here and well irrigate them, they will grow more quickly. So I'm trying to find the balance between accomplishing a function and your budget. But that's something that we can talk about further. Also, the screening parallel to the road. That would be this part down in here. My recommendation is to do live oaks on about a 20-foot center, maybe a little bit closer than normal, but live oaks are there, unless you start out just humongous. Um, I put them a little bit more densely in here so that they form that screening more quickly. I've also irrigated these live oaks so that they grow even more quickly. Um, Soccer field, grass, and irrigation. So that is doing the layout of the heads in this 90 by 120 foot area. Um, we've got the main line come down. Starting out, we would have a remote valve. And what I've got in here is to smooth grade. That means we would have a rough grade, but we need to go in there. We need to smooth it. We need to hand rake it. And then I've got in here for amendments. I've got in here for hydro seeding, and then putting the irrigation in there for that. This is a small price for the overall project, which really depends on having good soil and good irrigation. Moving on here. I've also got irrigation on this side and this side. That's where you see the X's. So that this is irrigated, and this is irrigated. Power and controller wire. So, starting out in irrigation, you do not have a reliable power source. And even if you did, a subcontractor will probably unplug it and it's going to cause all your plants to die. Things I've learned from experience. So, I do have remote valves set up on these, but ultimately, what needs to happen is there's a one controller here and it will turn on and off any valve, any area out in this location. So what I've done is I've priced in this estimate to run power and to run controller wire throughout the parts of the property. The yellow is the power that we would run, and I put in a sizable wire. If you run from here down to here, um, you need something that can handle a decent sized pump to pump water all the way up here. So I've anticipated that we're going to have a pretty decent sized wire to run that pump properly. So I've dropped that wire in here, and I've also dropped in controller wire for future expansion of the irrigation. So that about covers everything on phase one of this particular project.